Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Esoteric Entertaining series on the MiSTer FPGA DE10 Nano project, more specifically in this instance, Jotego's beta for a Rolling Thunder core. If you've never played Rolling Thunder before, it is one of those classic mid-80s Namco games. I absolutely love this thing, but when I say you better be prepared to die over and over again and absolutely fight for any bit of progress in this game, I 100% mean it. Everything seems accurate in the core, which is to say you're gonna die constantly, and that's exactly how a real arcade PCB would work as well. Before we get too far involved though, do me a huge favor, go down below, hit like and subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, we got a Patreon link down below as well. But Jotego's definitely been on a bit of a hot streak recently, giving us some awesome arcade cores. He's been previewing and teasing Rolling Thunder over on Twitter as well. And I definitely do love this game, although I would say the sequel is the better of the two. But it is an awesome arcade board, and it isn't a cheap board if you want to pick one up. So having an FPGA implementation definitely makes a difference. But you'll see there, the first death has already been taken, and that is going to be kind of how this game works. It is incredibly hard. It does not hold your hand, and unfortunately when you die you do get knocked back to a checkpoint. So there's going to be areas in this game where you just absolutely get stuck. My best advice for you is kind of try to play this game almost like a rhythm game. I know that sounds crazy, but there are patterns in the enemies and you can kind of move the screen around to kind of control where they're going to spawn. So you're really going to have to memorize this the same way you would memorize something like a music rhythm game or a bullet hell shmup. And when you actually think about it that way, it's going to become much more intriguing than just thinking about it as an action platformer that is doing nothing but trying to take as many quarters off you as humanly possible. But honestly, the best part about MiSTer FPGA is you don't actually have to put quarters in to be able to enjoy the games. And even if this is in beta, having played around with it in the background, having NDD captures done for me as well, I really can't see anything at all to point to that makes me think this is anything other than a beta that'll have very minimal if no changes when it actually goes public, and that is always an awesome place to start. The graphics seem to be working 100%, the controls are concise and responsive. All of the audio just sounds like Rolling Thunder, and I will give you a sound sample compared to MAME in a little bit, because I am going to use a little bit of MAME footage both as a comparison as to how this is operating, as well as to show you a little bit further into the game, because if you actually wanted to capture the entirety of this game and you weren't a professional Rolling Thunder player, it would probably take you 7-8 hours to actually get to the end of the game, because trust me, it sure as hell is not going to get any easier as you get to the later stages. But the nice part about a game like this, even if it is difficult, is the sense of accomplishment you feel when you actually get further into the game, because you know it was a hard-won battle against the actual difficulty and you feel like you really did have an accomplishment. 3 hits and you're basically dead on this one, but it's one of those games, it really makes you want to continue to play it. And of course, again, because we're not in an arcade, you don't have to worry about emptying $100 worth of quarters into the machine and then still not being able to see the ending. And of course, you're going to have difficulty dips and everything else. But let's move over to MAME for just a moment here. I want to show you the exact same section of this just to show you how accurate this beta core is. Now, of course, MAME is software emulation, not FPGA recreation of the hardware, but software emulation can do the exact same job just in a different manner, and it really is a good example of something to test against, because Rolling Thunder in MAME has been perfect for a long time now. And as you can see, if I didn't tell you this was MAME footage, you'd probably have absolutely no idea whatsoever. That is the nice thing about this core. It is doing things so well. I'm pretty sure if you put it next to an original PCB, you'd have the exact same experience. And more often than not, when Jotego releases a beta, there seems to be a couple glitches here and there, but honestly, I couldn't find a single problem with something like Rolling Thunder in FPGA versus MAME. The difficulty, the control responsiveness, all of the graphics, the artwork, the music, everything just seemed to be one-to-one, and that is something you're looking for. And again, that is why MAME is incredible. That's why FPGA recreation is incredible. It's 2 ways to accomplish the same task, and it just means we have these games preserved for all time in a different form. But let's go to the soundtrack sample in just a moment. Of course, it's going to be on MiSTer FPGA because Rolling Thunder has a great iconic soundtrack, and honestly, it sounds incredible coming out of the core. So go ahead and listen for 45 seconds. I'll be back with more Rolling Thunder FPGA. But enjoy. I mean, that sounds exactly like Rolling Thunder should, in my opinion, but leave me a comment down below and you tell me if you hear anything differently. Because again, I always say in these videos, I have two tin ears. I am a filmmaker and very visual, so honestly, glitches in the video are something that I can usually notice, but if there's a slight tone shift in the sound, it's just something that maybe every once in a while I won't pick up on. And if you couldn't tell already, there's doors in here that are going to give you more bullets as well as better guns, so you're definitely going to have to pay attention and go into those. And you can definitely tell this is working so well graphically, because the nice thing about Rolling Thunder is all of the animations, especially for 1986, were absolutely outstanding. There's so many frames in every single movement, and it really does feel so impressive compared to pretty much any other arcade game back in the day. Namco's artists just decided they were going to fill this thing up with as many frames as they could possibly get, getting you these really fluid animations, not only in the playable character, but every enemy around you. And even if they do look like ridiculous Scooby-Doo villains that you would basically unmask at the end of an episode, they do have a really fun look, and I would say the colors pop, and it really does allow you to be able to visually read what's going on screen at once. And that's definitely going to be to your benefit in a game that's difficult. You want every little bit of help you can get. And now moving over to the next sample, you leave me a comment down below and you tell me, is this Mr. FPGA or is this MAME? There is one telltale sign on the screen that I think you'll be able to pick out, but honestly, visually and performance wise, you really couldn't tell the difference whatsoever, and that is super impressive for a beta core, because again, it's not like it is completed. It'll probably take a couple fixes, and I'm sure there is something in this footage I'm just missing when it comes to the performance of Rolling Thunder, but honestly, I just can't find it. I went back and forth watching the footage trying to find anything, even a stray pixel that I couldn't identify as being correct, and it just was not appearing for me. And that again is just something we look for at FPGA footage. And now obviously we are on MAME, just showing you later parts of the game. It's like a little mini review of Rolling Thunder, because this game is just spectacular. I wish this series would get a little bit of a revamp. I love a good run and gun game, and I've always loved the art style of this. Kind of feels like something like James Bond 007 mixed with Lupin III in its own complete style of game. And I think if you did this in a modern style with this level of animation, it would absolutely be a hit. But you tell me down below if I'm just being crazy and want a new Rolling Thunder game or not. And if you have played this game, let me know your thoughts down below. This is really a love it or hate it sort of title, and it always comes down just to that overall difficulty. Some people just get turned off by it in the first 2 to 3 minutes, turn the game off and never revisit it again. Other people will come back to it time and time again because they just want to fight through and see that ending. So it is one of those things. I would say Rolling Thunder is absolutely an acquired taste. You're either going to love it or hate it, but if you try it out, definitely give it more than 5 minutes. Fight through those deaths, try to figure out the patterns of the enemies, and then continue to make a little bit of progress moving forward, because every single checkpoint you get is going to feel like you've done something incredible, just because it definitely took you a long time to get there. I'm going to give you one more soundtrack sample just to let you listen to the other part of the game, but we are in MAME here just because I want to advocate for you actually playing the entirety of Rolling Thunder on Mr. FPGA. 35 seconds, I'll be right back with a little bit more FPGA footage. So yeah, again, just an awesome soundtrack on an awesome game that is just going to destroy you time and time again, but you're going to have fun when you play it. We are back on Jotego's beta core as well. Sorry I couldn't get more footage deeper into the game, but I had to keep working, and honestly, 3-4 hours later, I still could have been stuck midway through to the second stage, because this game is one that if you learn it and you could 1cc, it's going to take you like 14 to 16 minutes in total. But if it's your first time playing the game, or if you haven't played it in some years, trust me, this thing could take you all day long to see the ending. But that is what Rolling Thunder demands of you, and as far as Jotego and his beta core is concerned, it is 100% playable. You can see the credit scroll. I did talk to people that are way better at the game than I am to check that out, and it is just a fun time. It's another absolute arcade classic that now is preserved for all time in FPGA. But leave me a comment down below. Did you play Rolling Thunder back in the day? Have you played it recently? And what do you think of the game? But sure to that, we're done. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.